Welcome everyone. This is a review of the Trade Desk journaling feature, which I think is probably the most important thing that you can do here for yourself to track how you're progressing through the bootcamp, and also to be able to have a historical record of your trading to show you when you do the right things that over time you'll become a consistent and profitable trader, as the HPS team is showing you how to do here. Now, a lot of people don't even bother to go back and look at their trading day, if it was good or bad or why. They only look at the red or green on the screen at the end of the day. And this is not a very good method of defining a good trader, because just because you made money doesn't mean you did it in the right way. If you end up green, does not mean that you took good trades, does not mean that you actually followed your plan. And these are the most important things about becoming professional and instilling confidence in yourself, that you actually have the ability to be profitable long term. I just want to review the most important parts here. And if you have any questions, of course, feel free to reach out. When you come to your main dashboard, you'll see it comes to this screen automatically here. For some reason you don't see the dashboard, you're on a different tab. So you just want to click on the trade desk. You may have this slider open. I know most of the bootcamp members are using the TFDX platform, so just make sure that slider is off, and that will get you to your dashboard. And you'll see this trade routine section here. I want to go back and look at Friday here and show you how I would have done this in the morning here if I was going to trade the New York session. It's important to check each morning. This information will provide valuable insight into your trading psychology and how it can impact your performance. Initially, coming down, first click on the day that you're actually checking in with. Friday, you can always go back. And if you haven't entered in this information, it would be a good idea to go back and actually review how you were feeling, if you can remember that from prior days, and also to give yourself a grade for the prior days. Now, as far as the initial journal here, we can complete this in the beginning of the day, after the day, or just, I would recommend updating this throughout the day if you can. But initially just click get started. Check how you're feeling. Friday, I was feeling pretty relaxed, neutral. I had a losing day before, so I had a little bit of lack of confidence there. So just being honest with yourself, and if you find that you're not feeling good enough, you want to get yourself back to as close to neutral as possible before you actually start your trading day. Don't feel like you're obligated to trade if you're feeling angry, anxious, maybe didn't get enough sleep, if that you're feeling like you have to have the money for whatever reason. A lot of times that will affect your trading. You won't actually follow your plan necessarily, so you want to be aware of those emotions and either take a step back, get yourself back to neutral as far as how you're feeling, not feeling too high, too low, just coming in with a neutral mindset is one of the most important things of being a professional, and not getting emotionally involved in the trade, just knowing that it's a system, and over time, we're not robots, but as close as possible as you can follow your system and let it play out over the long term. That is your edge. That is your edge, is not bringing the emotions into your trading, following your plan as close as you can, and controlling your risk. So if you click next, you want to check the economic events. and look for any high impact news events. We do have Michigan sentiment here, which is a red folder event. It's important to be aware of. Although the futures desk does allow you to trade during news, you want to make sure that you're not actually in a trade unless it's part of your plan and you plan for this news and you're taking a trade based on the news. So at 10 Eastern time, I would not want to be in the market unless it was part of my strategy that I knew this was coming up and I actually wanted to place a trade. And when you do that, of course, the size has to be much smaller because these red folder events are going to provide increased volatility in the markets. And it's very easy to get into a situation you don't want to be inadvertently when you don't realize what's going on with the news. Medium impact as well. You want to be aware of these. They can affect the market, not as much as the high. And then low impact is just for information, really, to know what's going on. So really look out for those high impact events. Be aware of the medium impact events as well. Any Fed speaker can affect the market. So you want to make sure you know what time these guys are talking and when any red or yellow folder events are coming on the radar, to make sure that you know they're coming up and you're not caught off guard. If you see a news event like this, try and set an alarm, something like that, for 5 minutes before to make sure you're out of any trades. Definitely recommend that if you can. Next thing is the market bias. What is your bias for the day based on what you're looking at on the charts from the prior day on the larger time frame? So take a look at the daily, take a look at the 4-hour charts. Get an overall idea of what you think the market's going to be doing today. You do not want to trade off of your bias. However, you do want to be aware of it, but you really only want to take trades based on what the price action actually shows you. So be aware of your bias, but don't trade off of it, because only price action will tell you what the market is doing, actually doing. For Friday, I came into the market with a bearish bias on NASDAQ, and for gold was neutral. Review what you put in for your emotions. So if you forget to do this stuff, just come back and do it, even if it's at the end of the day. It's creating good habits. It's creating a routine that's going to solidify your process. What's your general outlook on the market today here? Positive, neutral, emotional state often leads to more rational plan-based decisions. And it'll tell you how this may affect you. Lack of confidence. Low confidence often comes from lack of clarity. So by reviewing my trading plan and considering reducing position sizes until I feel more certain, this lack of confidence will not affect me as much as if I took my regular size. Because I'm relaxed, it can help with my decision making, but I may have a tendency to lose focus and become complacent. Maybe I won't trail my stop when I'm in profit. Maybe I won't put on a stop if I'm that relaxed, right? And those are all things that I want to be aware of to make sure that I don't do those things and actually put on stop orders, trail them down, making sure that I'm following my plan like we talked about. So just starting my daily journal here. Make sure to stay on point, conserving profits and reducing size today. All right, next, clicking next, daily goals. This is where your pre-trade checklist will come in. And I would recommend putting in this here. We can add new goal here. Check system readiness. And what you could do is just copy and paste what the system readiness is here that you need to check. I'd paste that in here, create daily goal. Then we'd go to the next one, market awareness. Scroll down, you can scroll down here. I've got quite a few daily goals that you might not have, but definitely important to add the pre-market checklist, market awareness, and do the same thing. Just copy it from the checklist and paste it in the description here. We just talked about some of this. Want to avoid trading before major news releases unless it's in your plan. And then just have an idea of how those events may affect volatility. So by looking at the news, you're already going to know that. And then identify which market you'd like to trade and focus in on those instruments that you're interested in. That can change throughout the day depending on if there's no movement in one or the other assets that you're looking at. Scrolling down again, adding the next one, technical context, copying and pasting off of the checklist here. And you only have to do this once and then it'll be saved for you. Marking your key levels, making sure you've got your Bollinger Bands, the EMAs, and the VWAP up. Making sure that your chart and the DOM are on the same ticker. I think Vegas showed you how to do that there. And then check for the overall trend and look for support and resistance levels as we've been showing you here throughout the bootcamp. Review the videos that were posted there, the bonus videos, to get a better understanding of market structure and identifying liquidity zones there. Next thing is trade planning. Find your daily risk, profit targets before taking any trades. As Vegas has talked about extensively, you should not be getting into any trades that you do not have these things defined, specifically the daily risk defined, which I believe is $180 for the profit targets for the day and maximum of $400 for the daily risk budget. Determining the take profit zones and then making sure that makes sense with your entry and stop loss. So notice take profit zone, not an exact number. Ensuring your position size aligns with your account's daily loss limit. You guys are only supposed to be trading 1 to 3 micros, so make sure that you're reinforcing that and reducing size. If the emotions don't check out, you're feeling lack of confidence, reduce that size as much as possible down to the 1 micro. Verifying all the risk settings are correctly entered into your platform. Once we've planned out the day, we also want to have goals for execution. We talked about the keeping a calm mindset, having patience to wait for the setup. And that's where HPS comes in, helping you to define your trade, your risk. You've already done that to get these accounts passed, get to the funded state and get paid right after the trade. This is probably one of the most important things here. Once your daily profit target is hit, to lock out of your account for the day. So I know we do have a section to post proof that you actually locked out of your account. Not sure if you guys are using that. Not a bad idea to do that, to make sure that you're held accountable, you hold yourself accountable, you made your profit, you hit locked out. If your daily loss limit is reached, you want to do the same thing, lock out the account. The whole idea with these prop firm accounts is survival, to keep the accounts one step forward, one step back. It's okay if the step forwards are more consistent than their steps back. So that's what we're trying to help you with here at HPS, to make sure that you're walking forward as much as possible. There will be some setbacks occasionally, but in the long term, that's not going to affect you, because overall we're moving forward towards our goal of funded accounts and getting consistently paid for our work. And then using these tools with the futures desk, we will be reflecting on performance and recording the lessons learned, so we know what happened and not just moving on to the next day without reflecting on what the market taught us, what the lessons were learned for the next session. So we've put in everything from the pre-trade checklist. You only have to do this once, and again, you just copy and then paste into the goal for the day here. And then you'll have this here ready to check off. I've got a few others on here, like taking one good starter trade for me. That's important just to get warmed up, and waiting for the actual setup is very important as well for me. Keeping my daily loss below $500 ideally. Would like it to be less than that, but that is also a daily goal for me on this futures desk evaluation, and preserving profits. You guys are going to get really good at the base hits here, making sure when you're green, you hit that $180, they shut it down for the day, locked it out, and show everybody and post that in the Bootcamp room there. Clicking next, reviewing for the morning prep, mental state, market analysis, daily goals, and the bias here. If you wanted to change something, you can click on back on here and go to any of these sections. So we did have a high impact news event. Forgot to post that there, so I can just click yes. And that's at 10 o'clock. Completing prep. And in my notes, I can make sure to put in 10 a.m. Michigan sentiment report, so you can update this. All right, so that was our trade routine, pre-market check. Next step is going to be, once you've locked out for the day, you've made your profit for the day, or you've stopped trading because you either are not in the right mindset or you realize your max daily loss, you want to close out the day. Trade analysis will bring up all your trades here, and you can mark what setups those were, and you also want to give yourself a grade. How well did you stick to your trading plan? How did you execute your trades? Did you manage your risk only using 1 to 3 micros? And did you have a good understanding of your emotions? If you did, and you got back to neutral, give yourself a good grade. If you realize you weren't feeling well, but you kept trading, give yourself a lower score. And be honest with yourself here as far as whether or not you stuck to your plan, you did your trades properly. With HPS, these should not be a problem. Once you've graduated and are trading on your own, becomes even more important to hold yourself accountable. You want to make sure that you're holding yourself accountable to all these categories to make sure that you're tracking every day. An overall grade here, and it will track your progression throughout based on each day, what you put in here, and you can get a good overview of how you are performing. You can see on the 31st, I did not stick to my plan. Execution was off, risk management was off, and emotional control was off. Gave myself an F for that day. Looking for improvement here, and you can see that's exactly what happened. Go ahead and complete the sessions, and it'll say great work, all trades properly documented. So if you do have outstanding trades here, you can see, just going back here, you can actually go back and do the same thing for that prior day. And if you go to close out that prior day, it'll say 1 trade missing setups. Just click on it. You can select the setup, and it will also bring up a chart. Here, we'll show you your actual executions and what the market price action looked like there. It will also give you your maximum favorable excursion on the trade. So how much in profit you were for the trade duration and the adverse excursion here. See, I got stopped out at my $500 max daily budget here on this trade. This is a good thing to look at as well, and that will show up right here. You can see my maximum favorable excursion was larger than the adverse, which is what you want. So although this is red, I'm very happy with the execution on this, and I followed my plan. I can tag that with the positives that come out of this, so I know that although it was negative, it was actually a win here because I followed my plan. I do notice the duration was a little long here for me, so I could put this as a negative. Did not exit in profit, held longer than 5 minutes. So that would be the one negative I see here and something to improve on. And then also, it's very helpful is to take a picture, a screenshot of your chart with your markups from the day so that you can reference these trades and have a record of the trades to look at, to reference. So if you just go to these three dots here and click this little image icon, I take a screenshot of all my trades here and mark them up. And that way I can have just a quick glance at what the entry was and where I got stopped out, and if the trade actually made sense, if it was according to plan here. This was. I did follow my plan. I got stopped out, so overall very happy with this trade. It was valid setup. It just didn't work out. Not every trade is going to work out. Not a big deal, as long as you're controlling your risks. If I had held on to this, I would have completely wiped out any drawdown that I had. If this was in my own brokerage account, you know, that you're looking at a very large loss for the day if I had not followed my rules. So this is excellent. I'm very happy with this trade. That'll be in your trade analysis. You can see all trades have valid setups now. So overall execution held a little bit long, so I'll give myself a 75 on that. Risk management, I did well on that. I could have got out a little sooner, so maybe I'll give myself a 75 on that as well. Emotional control, controlled my emotions well. But maybe I did get a little bit attached to that trade and could have gotten out maybe a minute or two sooner there. Okay, so overall, pretty good job here on that day. So feel free to go back for all the days you've been trading and implement these scores here and make sure to have them on your calendar to look for areas where you can improve, to make sure you're on track, and to make sure you come in here every day and actually click the get started button. If you forget to do it, come back and do it at the end of the day. Hope that helps. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I'd be happy to walk through some more parts of this. But overall, I feel like this is a really great feature of the trade desk that you should be using. Follow the checklist, follow your plan, track your trades, and know what you're actually doing every day so that you can continue to do what's working and become a profitable trader.